Hello everyone, this is my first top 10 Transformers video. Number 10. Okay, that sucked. Number 10 is one very, somewhat interesting Transformer from the Beast Wars cartoon in the 90s. Creeping in at number 10, we have Rampage. Backstory for those of you who have not seen this series, and I do recommend you do see this, and the whole thing is on YouTube if you find the right user. But Rampage, he started, for those of, if you've seen the G1 cartoon, basically you'll know that Starscream basically has a indestructible spark. Well, the Autobots, apparently after the war, sometime during there, wanted to replicate that. They succeeded but created a monster. Go figure. And then Rampage, and that was Rampage, but they called him Protoform X. And they basically put him in a pod, put a big old X on it, and then set him on the Axelon, the Maximal ship, and he basically crash landed on Earth into a bit of energon. He survived. He survived, of course, and then he basically we find out he is a mass murderer, killer, cannibal, and just downright insane. But not exactly like the kind of insane. He's more of the feed off of fear kind of thing. Well, basically, Megatron, using a blade made of pure energon, took half of his spark and then put it in sort of a special cage so then he could torture him to keep him in line, and basically he's a new recruit for the Predacons, which he's, not very happy about. Now, the reason why I put him, the reason why he's on the list, period, is because he's an interesting character study in a way. And this is coming from a kid's cartoon. Rampage is interesting because, yes, he's a cannibal, he's a killer, and he's not very dedicated to this Predacon cause. He really hates Megatron, and he's open about it. He wants to be free and just rip out Megatron's spark. He doesn't really... He's contempt at best with the other Predacons and barely follows orders. Though, in a few episodes, it seems that even his hatred for Megatron will disappear if he gets to blow shit up. So, and also another episode, in the episode Transmute, he meets a, very badly deformed. I'm using that word very sparingly because, that's one of the ways you could describe it, is the pod's DNA scanner, how they scan their forms, malfunctions severely. And out comes this weird-looking thing that calls itself Transmute. And Rampage, surprisingly, befriends it. Now, Silverbolt also does as well, but Silverbolt's that kind of guy. He's sort of the gullible hero, the do-gooder, the guy who always sees black and white. But Rampage is interesting because he sees it's in probably as much pain as he is. Like, it's not. People view it as a monster, but it's not. He sees the good in it. And when is destroyed, he's expressed his actual sorrow and sadness from it. He really does feel sad for it. With that being said, with him being that interesting, there are his bad. What I find bad about him outweighs the good. For one thing, he's sort of bland. His thing with depth charge is sort of predictable. He's very boring actually most of the time. When he's not blowing stuff up, he's very bored, very laid back, not very interesting. And also the fact that, well, granted he almost doesn't seem like he should be a Predacon. I would love to see this guy as sort of like a third faction. Like, he could literally be a third faction. You know, with his rocket Gatling thing, he can change into both a crab and a tank. He could easily be a formidable third faction. And that would make the Beast Wars a little more interesting. But still, in that regards, that's the reason why I put him on the list, was because he's a good character study and possibly one of the well, I wouldn't say one of the best that Transformers could offer, but he's certainly enough to give a look. But in my mind, if you're going to watch Beast Wars, watch it for the glory that is David Kaye as Megatron. That is basically possibly the only reason you need to watch that. But nevertheless, Rampage, love him or hate him, he may not want to be a Predacon, but he is. And when he has to blow shit up, you know the man to call. This is Crazy is launching, and number 9 will come when that video is planned out. But it will be soon. I promise that. See ya, folks.